Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kappa Season 2. Yes, our camera's working here for our second match of the day, and that's what I'm talking about. WG.Unity facing off against Orange.Taring for our second best of one. Another good matchup here. WG.Unity with two stand-ins, unfortunately, at least tagged up as such, and Taring with all 5 here, though they were a little bit late to the party and did get knocked some of their reserve time. Let's jump right into the draft here. See what these teams are working on. And it's definitely a change of pace. First pick Lion for WG.Unity. Nothing surprising about that. But Orange.Taring now take the Winter Wyvern and Axe as their opener. All right. We've seen that first pick Lion quite a bit. Pretty safe, pretty hard to react to. Really reveals nothing about your strategy. I think Lion's good to have in pretty much every lineup, honestly. There are very few games where you could say Lion is a objectively bad pick. Winter Wyvern, hit or miss. We've seen a couple games where the Winter's Curse has been a key ultimate in securing kills, particularly good against those like single core, dual core lineups where you can just turn and juice a support or a Dark Seer once that big fat carry gets pretty big towards the mid game. Though not the easiest hero to execute with. Now with the changes, it's not that massive team disable. Now it's really just that, well, it's still a team disable, but mitigates damage done to other targets. So you got to be a little careful with how you use it. One of those ults that can win you fights, and it can also cost you fights if you're not careful with how you use it. Second pick Axe, very bold from Orange.Taring, and I say mostly bold because what are the chances somebody was actually going to pick up Axe or ban him out at this stage of the game? He is not in the meta right now. I don't think Axe is really on anyone's radar as a particularly high value pick or ban. So seeing him picked up this early on is kind of strange, especially since it's a hero that you can kind of play around. I mean, he is super. He's super momentum driven. And I'm kind of wondering how Orange.Taring see these lanes setting up. We've seen less of the off-lane Axe because he's so reliant on that early Blink Dagger, and he's not one of those heroes like an Earthshaker or a Magnus that is sort of okay getting a delayed Blink Dagger. Like, oh, that's all right. You take the farm, buddy. I'll recover later, and then the Blink will come online. He kind of needs the Blink in tandem with other items, like a fast Vanguard, a fast Blade Mail, even just like a Drum, something just to give him some extra stats and have the ability to stand his ground when he goes in and uses that Berserker's Call. Because if you get the Blink too late, then all of a sudden the Axe mans up, and the other team goes, oh, wait, we can just turn, drop a finger, and we can kill this Axe straight away. Lion, possibly one of the better heroes to deal with Axe. If you don't get caught by the Blink Berserker's Call initiation, you can turn and counter-initiate with Hex and Stun. And also good to just have burst damage that isn't mitigated by armor. Magic damage that just cuts right through the red man. So, should be interesting. I was thinking that Orange.Taring would be the favorites coming into this one, but I was informed via the Twitch chat that on most of the betting sites, the bookies are saying that WG.Unity are actually the ones that are favorited here. So, haven't seen these teams too much. I guess things may have changed in the near future since I last saw the two of them square off. This is an upper bracket matchup, so no elimination today here, folks. Winner of this will be facing off against S1 Lycos in the round 3 playoffs here. So getting pretty close to the finals. Again, the top 2 teams out of this bracket are moving on to the top 4 playoffs where Fnatic and MVP await. So still a ways to go before we get to that stage of the bracket. But both these teams looking good in their opening matchups. Orange.Taring picked on No Snipe, and WG.Unity picked on the Mongols. Both of them, of course, qualifier teams, and they were both pretty one-sided matches, if memory does serve me correctly here. Moving into pick number 3, Tusk for Orange.Taring. I don't like this draft.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I want Axe to be good, but I just feel like there's so many ways to play around him. Dark Seer is also an okay hero against... It's kind of a weird matchup. I wonder how they're going to lane this. If they're thinking aggro try with a safe lane Axe, that could be good. Secure him a Blink Dagger. That's a good strategy. The problem is off lane Dark Seer I want to say is kind of okay against Axe. It sort of goes both ways, right? Axe can do a really good job clearing out creep waves fast. The nature of the spin means you're not going to be getting too much uptime on Ion Shell, but magic damage is just really good against Axe in general. And over time, you're going to be able to tick him down as he eats through that regen. So kind of goes both ways, but it doesn't really stop him from farming. Last game, we listed a bunch of safe lane carries that are really good against the Darkseer, and I think Axe is kind of 50-50. He does do really well in any 1v1 melee matchup. That's really where he shines. If you can get him in the off lane against like a solo safe lane, like a Lifestealer, you know, a solo safe lane melee carry. I don't know if Darkseer really quite fits the bill there. Disruptor now for WG.Unity. More good team fight to go with their Darkseer setup and even their Lion setup as well. I just like the way this WG.Unity draft is starting. They've got a lot of flexibility here. You've got 3 heroes that can initiate. Once Lion gets the Blink Dagger, of course, once Darkseer gets his Blink Dagger, and Disruptor, all right, maybe he doesn't always initiate a fight, but Glimpse is a powerful tool in starting off a fight or even counter-initiating a fight. And it's the beginnings of a pretty scary team fight lineup. Now they can move into a Gyrocopter. Nice block pick here from Orange.Taring. I think fairly obvious one, just kinetic field vac. Synergizes really well with the call down, all the AoE damage of the Gyrocopter. And it fits pretty well with the Orange.Taring lineup. You've got Axe who can initiate, Tusk who can also initiate setup for the Gyrocopter. You've got some good AoE setup. You know, Ice Shards can block people out so the call down can actually connect. And the one good thing about Tusk, well, he has a couple good things going his way, but the Snowball is going to be a pretty important tool here just to kind of reset things. You know, Gyro gets initiated on, you pop him in a Snowball. It works as kind of like a mini grave to keep the Gyrocopter alive. So there is some synergy here, but it's just not quite the same level of AoE teamfight disable. Axe, a bit more item reliant and can be harder for him to farm. Wonder what Orange.Taring have in mind for their mid lane here. Same goes for WG.Unity. They'll probably pick up their safe laner with this pick. Well, open-ended. Naga Siren, though, for WG.Unity. Ooh. Well, I really liked the WG.Unity draft until this Naga. We've seen a few teams try to bottleneck the Naga. Who is it? I gotta look at the bracket here. One of these qualifier teams really likes to run Naga Siren. I think it's... Was it No Snipe that was doing it? And then they were beat by the Mongols? That might be them. Carry Naga. Oh, man. Well, it can be really good. I mean, the carry Naga hasn't really changed all that much. It's the same general deal. You rush a Radiance, you take over the game, you play it like an Alchemist without Greevil's Greed, except you have the utility of being able to set up team fights with your ult. You've got a Ensnare that goes through BKB, interrupt TPs. That's pretty nice. You got a little bit of minus armor, similar to your Acid Spray. I mean, Naga's still good if she gets the space, I guess is the right way to put it. That's the hardest part about this hero. You know, Alchemist, you can gank him early on in the lanes, and he can still recover. That's one of the best parts about that hero. Sort of like the Shadow Fiend from 2 patches ago. Well, okay, you gank him a few times before level 6, but then he just goes clear some stacks, uses Shadow Rays, and all of a sudden, he's right back on par. No problem. Naga can't quite flash farm that same way until she gets the Radiance. Once she gets Radiance, Octarine, BOTs, I mean, she just takes over the map, right? We've also seen the problem with Naga teams where if they don't get an early lead, which often isn't the case because you generally don't have the best lane or map control with Naga while she's pulling up for the Radiance, all of the farm gets sucked up by Naga. The jungle gets cleared out, she takes the safe lane, and then heroes like Lion aren't able to farm their Blink Dagger. Darkseer, if he gets zoned out, won't be able to retreat to the jungle. Stuff like this can become a problem with a Naga. She's just like a sponge. She just soaks up everything that you can farm on the map. If you have map control and you're like, you know, 60% is in your favor, you knock down those enemy towers and open up the jungle a little bit, then it's not a big deal. You've got your whole safe lane to farm up and some of that enemy territory. But when the enemies are putting the pressure on, it's when things get tough. Zeus, the final pick for WG.Unity. Some big damage to go with their AoE team fight. I do like this. They've had some some physical damage. Now they've got some huge magic damage. Definitely a Veil game for WG.Unity. And Orange.Taring round out their draft with an Alchemist now. Okay. So things looking a little bit better for Orange.Taring. They needed something. They needed to decide how they wanted to take this draft. You get 2 options, right? You go for we hit the mid-game timing push, we cripple the Naga right as her Radiance comes online, and then that's where we go high ground. Not the easiest thing to do this game. Naga can be a hard hero to push high ground against because of Song of the Siren. You've got Darkseer and Disruptor who are great at defending high ground. And Zeus is pretty fucking good at it too. He's got a lot of AoE damage, can clear out creep waves very fast, and just not an easy lineup to say confidently, we're going to close this game out before Naga gets scary, especially with the heroes they picked up to start this draft. Winter Wyvern, Axe, Tusk, even Gyrocopter, not really great at pushing. I think those are 4 heroes that you could have taken a very active 5th pick mid to try and hit that timing and close out the game, but it puts a lot of pressure on your team to kind of execute perfectly almost during that timing window. So they go the opposite route. They pick up the Alchemist. They're going to fight greed with more greed. And I think this is a good pick for a lot of the reasons we were just talking about. I think it really rounds out this Taring draft well. It looks like just a quick DC here, but the Alchemist hits a timing before the Naga that I think is pretty scary. Grievel's Greed just means he can power farm more quickly. We've seen a lot of games where, 10 minutes in, Alk is already farming like 20, 30% ahead of the leading farmer on the opposition. Some of that has to do with RNG on bounty runes, depending on how much rune control they get. Usually Alk has to commit to 1, and we've seen a few games where if he gets like 2 or 3 bounty runes in a row in the first 8 minutes, like the first 4 rune spawns, it's pretty devastating how fast he can get that armlet or whatever core item he's going to take to kind of propel himself towards the mid game. Looks like WG.Unity now going to need a couple of quick reconnects as we get this game going. Again, this is not elimination, so we'll see what happens this game. Generally, the play styles are a little bit different when elimination is not on the line. Teams tend to take a little more risk, often be a little bit more aggressive. So yeah, for Taring, I think it's going to be all about securing early farm for the Alchemist and then applying pressure before the Naga is really ready to fight. The other timing window that you can hit against the Naga is before she's level 11. Song of the Siren is so underwhelming at level 1. I mean, it's a fine spell, what have you, but a 3-minute cooldown. So you can force a fight, dive the Naga, force her to ult, maybe trade 1 for 1, maybe lose somebody. Then after that, you have this 3-minute window where Naga is literally not going to come to fights at all because she has no escape mechanism. And at that point, she's going to be pretty squishy, pretty easy to kill. And those are the kind of things that you can really capitalize on. It kind of goes hand in hand with the Lion Finger early on. Super long cooldown, 160 seconds. Presents these long windows where Taring might be able to push some towers and get some action going. Oh, looks like we're having a little packet loss. I'm not, but no, that's a bummer. Yeah, this has a lot of potential to be a pretty farm-intensive game here, folks. I honestly do think there is a chance that Taring could close this out in a somewhat timely manner if the Alchemist and Axe really ball out of control. Like, Tusk is one of those boon or bust kind of heroes, right? Yamate going to be playing the Tusk. That's kind of a change of pace. Interesting. If he gets a lot of early rotations, like him and Axe, if they get a couple kills in lane, like if they just dominate the off lane, for example, there's a lot of flexibility for Taring as well with how they set up these lanes. It looks like it's going to be Winter Wyvern, Axe in the safe lane, and they're going to... How are they going to do? Are they going to go like dual lanes here, like 2-1-2? With a Gyrocopter Tusk and an Axe Winter Wyvern. There is some nice synergy with the Axe Winter Wyvern. Cold Embrace, of course, regenning him up. Keeps him safe while the counter helix is going. That's kind of nice. And the Splinter Blast slow makes it easy for Axe to close the gap early on, get in position for those Berserker's calls. So pretty good heroes to deal with the Darkseer early on. Imagine if Taring win all 3 lanes here. That's kind of what I'm thinking about, The supports set up kills on the side lanes. Both Axe and Gyrocopter doing pretty well. 5 minutes in, maybe you've got this Tusk, rotates towards mid. You set up a kill on the Zeus, and the Alchemist starts balling in that lane. If that happens, I mean, Taring can just run over WG.Unity. They don't really have a good beefy frontliner until the Naga gets fat. I mean, late game, absolutely, but... in that first 10 minutes, first 15 minutes, they don't have a great frontliner at all. You can just jump on this Disruptor and Same kind of deal for Zeus. You know, I feel like WG.Unity, there is a lot of pressure on this Zeus to not get wrecked in the lane. I don't think there's as much pressure for him to find kills. You know, it's not like he has to ball out of control and take over the game, but he needs to not get picked on and feed additional momentum to this Tusk and Alk. As long as he can farm reasonably even, rush a Veil, then maybe come online once they get some of their ultimates. My prediction, it'll be an action-packed mid-game. Outside of the lanes will be quiet, early mid game will erupt, and then both teams will kind of fall back on the okay, all right, we got to stop forcing fights and just let our carries farm. Naga, you need to get your Radiance. Then Taring's going to say, Alk, bro, you got to get your Radiance. We can't fight without it. And then we're going to watch both teams play Farmville for half an hour. And then there's going to be a couple big team fights around the Roche Pit, and the winners of those will probably take the game. But time will tell. Hey, what do I know? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Runes coming out in 25 seconds here. Taring actually burn a smoke to get things started. Looks like they are frisky for this level 1 skirmish. WG.Unity clustered up about the mid lane here. Potential for Taring to just take both bounty runes. We are going to see a fight. Looks like Axe is going to be able to grab the bottom one uncontested. Means it's a 4v5 up top. But Taring could still find an advantage. They go right in onto the Zeus. Beautiful shards split this up. Nana in big trouble. Rocket Barrage does decent damage. They get both bounty runes on the Radiant. No kill, but now they're just trying to get out. Yamate taking some big damage from this Ion Shell. Ajit just going to keep chasing him down. He's got another Riptide, and First Blood's drawn. It's Darkseer that gets credit for it. All right. Well, still, both bounties picked up by the Radiant. One does go to the Alk, so that is pretty huge. And I think given the Alchemist factor, that's probably worth it. Darkseer will be happy to start with a little bit of extra gold, but not really going to change the state of this bottom lane. Alchemist starting with a bounty rune. Yeah, it changes the state of this a little bit. That's going to be free boots coming out for him straight away. Now look at him just going right up onto the Zeus. Realizing Zeus pretty low on regen in this early laning stage. He had 2 pooled tangos, had himself the Fairy Fire. Good to put pressure on early, make him chew through those tangos. So it will be this solo matchup down bottom. Axe on Darkseer for now, and an aggro tri-lane coming out of Taring. Interesting. I'm really curious how this bottom lane is going to go for the Axe Darkseer. We don't see this too often. I think the Darkseer should be able to pressure him, but if Axe plays it right, as long as he doesn't take too much damage and gets a couple levels on him, he should be able to man up on the Darkseer and still pick up a lot of these farms. Ultimately, the Darkseer, putting all this pressure on in the lane, shoving creeps into the tower is okay for Axe. He can intercept it. He can tank it up. He's got a lot of regen, so he is pretty prepared for this. 8 tangos and a healing salve. He'll be able to just tank these creeps, get a healing piece, and then I think this lane gets a hell of a lot easier for him. So let's check in on this tri-lane up top. Tusk, Gyrocopter, Winter Wyvern against Naga, Disruptor, Lion. Okay. It's just really an interesting tri-lane. Kind of on both sides of the coin. Double ranged for Taring. They've got pretty good damage. Gyro pretty good in these scenarios because of the Rocket Barrage. Does have decent magic damage. Yamate will be able to set up with Ice Shards, and Splinter Blast means there is going to be a fair bit of slow. You did go Arctic Burn level 1, no big surprise, but here we go. Set up onto the Naga. Arctic Burn flying around the tree line. Naga does have super high armor in these early levels. They bring her down to about 200 HP or so, but not going to be able to find the kill. Now the glimpse back onto Gyro. The snowball to reset. Gyro gets healed up a little bit, eats a Fairy Fire. Now they turn onto Afu. Nobody going down quite yet. A lot of damage exchanged, some regen being burned. Healing salve used by the Gyrocopter. Both teams will keep their teammates alive. Gyrocopter, Disruptor, forced to walk back to the well. Only 1 tango left, and he will scurry his way back home. Probably going to have enough gold for boots by the time he comes back. That'll be good news there. WG.Unity, maybe not as sustainable in this lineup. I think they have more like burst potential when they have all their abilities off cooldown. They probably have a higher chance to find a kill, but Taring have way more sustainability. Winter Wyvern will pick up Cold Embrace before too long, so that's a free heal right there. Snowball, you saw the power of the reset in that last fight. Just giving the Gyrocopter a couple seconds of damage immunity, and it turned that fight around and almost get a counter kill on the Disruptor. And continue to put pressure on here, though. Lion pulls into the moves into the pole camp with a double stack. They're going to try to absorb some XP. We'll check in on the other lanes here. Alchemist having a great time in the mid, besting the Zeus 22-12. And raw last hits there. And down bottom, Axe with 12 last hits compared to the 16 of the Darkseer. So it is a relatively even exchange. Now up top, a dive onto Zaki. Yamate sets it up with some ice shards. Nice stun on 2, but still Rocket Barrage doing some pretty good damage. Ice on the back line, setting it up with some Arctic Burn. Nice. They dive the Darkseer. That's not Darkseer. I'm just making up hero names. They dive the Lion, get an easy kill. Now Ice taking huge damage as he walks to the tower. No real retreat path. Didn't have a TP scroll or anything. They will have to trade 1 for 1. Does feed a kill over the way of the Naga Sirens team. Ends up dying to the Dire. Kind of unfortunate for Taring, as they were hoping that could be a clean gank. That is one of the drawbacks of going for this more aggressive build. No point in Cold Embrace. Maybe could have reset and had a chance to survive there if he had Cold Embrace. Alk going to find himself a Bounty Rune in the bottle. Quite nice. What's he got on the Courier? Helm of Iron Will. It's going to be an armlet first item. Hey, hey, hey. No surprise. We saw the Dragonlance last game on Alchemist. Kind of a peculiar item pickup. I mean, obviously, at Dragonlance, value stats, 15 agi, 15 strength, so there is some sense to it. Scantzor was kind enough to reply to my hails on Twitter, saying that in games against an Ancient Apparition where you don't want to go for an armlet, it serves as a slightly better alternative to the Drum, where you get more relevant stats for the Alk, and you can always disassemble it, whereas the Drum, you don't have that option. So that's basically the thought process behind the Dragonlance Alk. Probably not going to be a factor this game, though. I think the armlet, tried and true, will definitely be the item of choice. Afu initiated on the Ice Shard's actually going to work against Taring here. A lot of return damage. Ult from Zeus flies through. Tusk eats his stick charges, trying to heal up as much as they can, but now glimpse back on Gyrocopter. That should be the end of him, and on the other side, Naga trying to chase him down, getting this Winter Wyvern pretty low. He's got Splinter Blast level 2. Might be able to turn something around, but no. It's just going to be a 2 the other way. Sloppy initiation from Orange.Taring. They tried to make it happen. Almost had the setup. It was a really crafty play from the Disruptor to eat this tree here, to get out of harm's way, to get out of the Ice Shards. And then he kind of baited them on the other side of the Ice Shards. They snowballed in, then the entire team got stuck here. Disruptor was safe behind the barrier, and the rest of WG.Unity just came cruising on in and cleaned it up. This is a brilliant start for the Dire side, except for this mid lane. Everything's going their way except Alchemist. I mean, he is just balling over this Zeus. He's now 2x the net worth. What did we say about Bounty Rune RNG? If you can get 3 in the first 8 minutes, you're in pretty good shape. That would be his 3rd Bounty Rune. He picked up the first one, 6-minute, and had the 4-minute. I think Zeus grabbed the 2-minute. But it's just insane how fast he can propel himself ahead. He's going to have an armlet at like 7 minutes here. And once he has that, plus his ult, it's so difficult for Zeus to do anything. Like, he can drop a rotation, do some burst damage, but Alk will be able to regen through it and just kind of man up on him if the Zeus is at all forward in the lane. And it just takes 1 rotation from the Tusk, really just 1 Arctic Burn Splinter Blast rotation from the Winter Wyvern, and this Alk is going to be able to start picking up kills. He's been pretty self-sustaining in that lane. And the Axe, look at this. He's just going to rush a pipe. I love this audible from Axe. We were talking about Blink Daggers, we were talking about Blade Mails, but Hooded Defiance, right into the pipe. Absolutely warranted this game. Of course, huge magic damage from the Zeus, but also a lot of magic damage coming out of the Disruptor, the Darkseer, as well as the Lion. So even just having a casual Hood going to work wonders for Axe in these early fights. Yamate initiated on, glimpse back, going to pull him into harm's way. Ult from Zeus brings him low, but the snowball in, looking for the reset, but it might cost him his life. Actually sets up onto Ajit, the Tusk lives, and again, it's a 2 the other way. These fights up top, so backwards and chaotic. You think it's going to go for one team, and it goes to the other. Orange.Taring regains some of that lost footing. Their aggro try starting to work out a little bit better, with a much-needed kill on the Naga Siren finally coming out. So again, if we just evaluate straight numbers here out of the laning phase, we're only 8 minutes in, but look at the net worth differentials. Alchemist, with all of this, I mean, this is literally a solo Alchemist. He's had 0 support help so far, at least in the lane. Not going to fish his wish at the 8-minute. Gets himself the Arcane Rune instead of the Bounty, but might be able to rotate up top and grab it, honestly. He's got the armlet, 5k net worth. He's going to be well on his way to a Radiance, already with 1,200 gold. His power curve comes online so much faster than Naga, even though he has less utility. Naga Siren now only level 5, really suffering in experience because she was in a tri-lane with 2 other heroes, splitting all of it. And if we look at last hits, she wasn't really farming that well. 27 last hits compared to the 46 of Axe, the 57 of Alchemist. Alchemist is more than doubling her net worth. So even if she recovers, even if she finds the Radiance, this Alch is coming online super fast. Tusk taking some big damage here in the mid. They tried to glimpse him back, put him in a precarious situation. Zeus has the ult. He's going to drop it. That'll be the end of Yamate, just a little bit too far forward. Zeus showing off all of his damage output there. Is he going to get a free Frozen Sigil kill here as well? Maybe just baiting with it so Raji could come in. I'm getting a little nervous for WG.Unity here. I really am. Their Zeus and Darkseer are farming pretty well, but the main carries are not matching up. Naga not picking up her ult at level 6, a risky maneuver. Not worth picking up if you're actually going to be left alone just farming away in the jungle. These extra points in Mirror Image and Riptide do help your farming speed, but if you get initiated on, you're going to be wishing you had that Song of the Siren and a TP scroll so you can make it out safe and sound. Bottle on the courier. Is that the Naga bottle? It sure is. So Naga doing the Brown Boots Aquila bottle. We've seen a couple variations in Naga builds. I feel like we've been seeing a rise in the Arcane Boot Naga instead of bottle. It is a little more expensive, but I think slightly more cost-effective. Gives you a lot of mana sustainability. Lets you help out your teammates a little bit if they rotate into the jungle and help you stack. And it's a slightly higher efficiency build. You can break the boots later on, pick up BOTs, then use the energy booster to move into the Octarine core. The bottle kind of ends up being a sunk cost, but not a huge one. Up top, glimpse back onto the Axe. He's got that Hooded Defiance, mitigates quite a bit of damage. Zaki drops the finger, but now he's just going to turn. Snowball comes cruising in, and it's such an easy kill for Taring. Axe doesn't have enough mana to drop the Culling Blade, but still an easy setup there. Turn around the other way. Now Nana trying to TP home. Will be able to make it. No way to interrupt it. Gyro doesn't even have a point in the homing missile. Probably wouldn't have had time to channel it anyhow.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
All right, things slowing down a little bit. Both teams now just focusing on getting their initial farm going. Raji completely left alone. This Ogre is farming to his heart's content, almost level 11. That's the other thing about letting an Alch solo farm like this. It's not even just about how fast he farms gold, but how fast he farms experience. He has very little downtime with the Chemical Rage regen. You've got Acid Spray. He's going to be the highest level in the game by a good bit here. First one to hit level 11 and get that second point in the ultimate as he clears out this Ancient stack. That will also be his relic secured. When up top on the Darkseer, Hastrune in the bottle, probably looking for a mech, but just a buckler for now. Down bottom, Axe secures the deny on the tower. Now Naga Siren on the run. Naga Siren lacking the ultimate. She does have some teammates nearby. Oh no, Axe getting some lucky spins here, bringing her down low. That pure damage cuts right through that high armor. Nice stun from the Lion, but Ajit low, almost in threshold of the Culling Blade. It's a 4-on-2 though. A lot of rotations here from WG.Unity, and Zeus is inbound. He's also picked up a Blink Dagger, and a Thunder God's Wrath is available. Trying to soften him up a little bit. Axe getting low, completely out of mana. I think Zeus could just come close to dropping the ult here. That'll get the kill on the Winter Wyvern. Now the Axe falls. Snowball from the Tusk trying to buy himself some time. Call down from the Gyrocopter. Not going to keep him alive. Tusk guys to the vac back from Darkseer. He's trying to sip the bottle. Nana on the run, but Rocket Barrage will be there. It's a 2 for 3 overall. Gyrocopter getting a double kill as a cleanup. Zeus and Darkseer. He only gets 2 kills, but it is a set of cores. Still a net worth gain for WG.Unity. Although, again, Taring, pretty happy to trade evenly if it means their Alch is going to be continuing to free farm. He's still in this vulnerable state where he absolutely doesn't want to fight. That's a Radiance coming out now. 12 minutes Armlet Radiance. He's having a fucking field day in the Radiant jungle. 0, 0, and 0. 100 last hits. This is the Alchemist dream. He's just sitting there making potions in the jungle, killing creeps. Oh boy. WG.Unity, what's the answer here, fellas? Zeus not going for a Veil. The early Blink Dagger, kind of an interesting choice. The mobility is pretty good, especially against like an Axe Tusk, but I think an early Veil might have been a little bit better here. It does kind of counteract the effect of the Hood, at least when you have the debuff on, and gives the Zeus a whole bunch of nice stats, just buffs up that mana pool a little bit more so he can spam a little more efficiently. Going to see a smoke now from WG.Unity. They'll rotate towards the top lane. Taring are also smoked up. Looks like they want to have a go on the Darkseer. Sigil giving some vision over the tree line. Tusk looking to set things up perhaps with a snowball forward. He's just going to surge back to safety. It looks like he'll be just fine. Smoke from WG.Unity looking to cut somebody off near the Radiant Secret Shop. They won't fish their wish. Instead, they're going to rotate back up. Glimpse onto Raji. He's got a Static Storm, Kinetic Field. Afu all by himself, though. Does he have the damage? Wall from the Darkseer helps sets it up. They will trade 1 for 1. They'll lose the Lion, but now on the backside, NJ not going to find a hell of a lot. Lion for Alchemist. I think WG.Unity will be pretty happy with that one. Zeus gets knocked back, and finally they take a fight that trades even and slows down the farm of the Alchemist. Some space created for the Naga. I mean, Oddjet off to a slower start, but still farming okay. Nana now snowball initiated on. Kinetic Field comes out. A nice vac. Now Song of the Siren might be enough to save Nana. They need to kill this missile, and it's not going to be enough to save him. Song does not stop missiles. Do they have the damage? Nice stun from Lion on 3. Finger, the follow-up's there, and Taring get completely turned around upon and blown up by the Naga. That's the Wombo combo from this WG.Unity draft. Naga Siren with a great ult almost keeps the Zeus alive. Had the right idea there. Sets it up for a team, and that's a 2K net worth swing. They might even get one more out of it. They find the Winter Wyvern in the tree line. Arctic Burn's already been used. Doesn't have the mana for a Winter's Curse. Will buy himself some time with Kinetic Field. WG.Unity trying to commit for this kill. The Darkseer comes cruising on in. A couple of right clicks. They should find this, and they will. Now TP from the Tusk. Snowballs in, trying to find this kill on Afu. Walrus Punch will do it. And now Wen just cuts his losses and TPs out. They do get the kill on the tower. Not denied. Goes the way of the Dire itself. Glancing at the overall gold graph, that does help level things out a little bit. WG.Unity getting some much-needed momentum. Oddjet getting a lot closer to his relic now. And Taring starting to fall behind on their cores besides the Alchemist. Turning into one of these games now where there's a lot of eggs in this Alchemist basket. Sure, he's big enough that he could continue this momentum, maybe pull a couple of Aghanim Scepters here, get the little sidecar for the Gyrocopter, you know, get Tusk a Walrus Kick. There's some pretty shitty Ags upgrades this game, I have to admit. I mean, even the Axe Ags upgrade, it's okay. It's a cute luxury item. It ups that threshold. It gives him that short cooldown, but overall fairly underwhelming compared to, you know, someone like a Disruptor or a Lion. You know, WG.Unity definitely have better Ags upgrades, even though they're the team without the Alchemist. So yeah, I mean, for the next couple team fights, WG.Unity might have that window of opportunity where it's like, okay, yeah, Alk, you're pretty big, but guess what? All of your friends are weak sauce. We're just going to ignore you, pick on your friends, and then once we have a 5v1, shutting down your big ogre body actually gets a lot easier. Jit. Sacred Relic up. 1,000 gold. Away from that Radiance. This game's not over yet. And we are starting to move into that territory of... Did somebody say farm? Wait, is there going to be some farming happening in this game? Because I think Naga and Alk are going to be taking a little power snower here. Working up that core gold. Gyrocopter, Dragon Lance, first item after Phase Boots. Okay, mid lane, we're going to see some setup right in onto Yamate. Blink Hex initiation from the Lion. He'll snowball for the reset, but Darkseer in deep, brings him down with the Ion Shell, just barely gets the kill. He pops the mech. Winter's Curse comes out. A bit underwhelming. Good positioning from WG.Unity. Not going to put in much damage. Now Ion Shell, Kinetic Field, Static Storm. There are some Ion Shells too, but Raji not falling to that. He's got his ult. They've got an Ice Cube. He'll be okay. Now Ice Blast coming in. Not going to connect on much, but Taring just going to be able to run at him. Lion as well as Disruptor get taken out. Ult from Zeus brings them low, but WG.Unity just don't have the follow-up damage to secure any of these kills. Not the ideal time to take a fight. With Naga so close to her Radiance, she absolutely does not want to die right now, and it flunks the whole risk-reward scenario for her to come and try and take these fights now. Just had to commit a little bit too much to get that Tusk kill that started off that whole fight. Zeus now moving into the Veil of Discord. Oh, yeah, we're talking about the Dragon Lance. Yeah. And now just Helm of the Dominator. It's a really good, well-rounded build for the Gyrocopter. Going to open up some farming capabilities for him. Use that Helm of the Dominator to stack up the Ancients, stack up the jungle, Him and Alchemist can farm it up. Dragonlance gives him some great stats, and the attack range is huge on Gyrocopter. Lets him sit back, do some pretty big damage without getting in harm's way. And all of these items just give him a nice bump in the here and now. Very efficient items. Even the Helm of the Dominator, you get a little bonus, that added damage, some added armor from combining those two items. So this is a pretty beefy Gyrocopter that's definitely looking to fight. 19 minutes, there it is. Radiance up on to Naga. She's also level 11. Song of the Siren, shorter cooldown, has it more readily available, can be a little more liberal with its usage. Dark Seer, we saw the mech, but he now moves into a Vanguard, probably the beginnings of a Crimson Guard. Another good team fighting item. They need somebody to be their frontliner. It is quite obviously the Dark Seer this game. Axe. He's got a Blink Dagger, but it does get broken by the Radiance of Naga. They go right in on the Alk in the bottom lane. It's the Naga Siren that goes charging in. Now Static Storm, Kinetic Field. He does have his ult on. Burst damage coming his way. Armlet toggled on. They've got plenty of damage. They kill the Alk. Now they may move on to the Axe. His Blink Dagger coming up in just a second, but he'll get glimpsed back. Nice setup from the Zeus to break the Blink. Set up for the glimpse of the Disruptor, and now the follow-up damage is coming through. Zaki takes the Winter's Curse, but it won't be enough for a kill, at least not yet. Call down, Snowball, that secures the kill. They get the follow-up on the Naga, but WG.Unity still with some resources here. Maybe they can find this kill on Gyrocopter. Ren getting low. He's going to man up, surge forward. Yamate caught out also. It's an ultra kill for the Zeus. Could be a rampage. There it is. Nana dancing his way all the way to victory. Going to get an Observer Ward kill to boot. A 2 for 5. They lose their Naga. But another huge team fight for WG.Unity. My God. Looking at the damage done, Zeus with nearly 4K. Taring showing us some of the weakness of their draft here, as all that momentum they had goes right back the other way. That was even without a Song of the Siren, without a finger. WG.Unity had more spells they didn't even have to use there. Imagine how much easier they could have just killed that Alchemist.
Dire's top tower.
Even if you have an uber-farmed Alchemist that's kind of taking over the game like this, it doesn't really counteract the big team fight from WG.Unity. AoE silence, AoE stuns from the Lion, AoE vacuums from the Dark Seer. These team fights are just so hard for Taring to take. And they still haven't really found a team fight where the Axe is able to get that initiation where they can just easily follow up. I mean, that whole fight started with the Axe getting initiated on. He wasn't the first target to die, but they neutered the effectiveness of that Blink Dagger pretty effectively. He is on his way to a pipe, headdress as well as the hood, and working on some of that recipe gold. And some great ancient killers here for Taring. Axe and the Gyrocopter just going to share it up. Not even going to give it to the Alchemist. And it looks like Raji just going for the standard build. Armlet Radiance into Manta. And then most likely, whoa, my God. So the scariest part about that is not that they killed Zeus using 2 ultimates, Finger as well as Thunder God's Wrath, but he's probably the best against magic damage. He's got himself a Hood of Defiance. Uh-oh, they're going to catch Winter Wyvern. It's an easy twofer. WG.Unity getting a lot of momentum now. This Zeus really coming online. He's coming into his full form now. Aether Lens and Veil of Discord. 2 huge items that ups his damage output a lot at this stage of the game. Also gives him just a lot of stats. 1,300 mana pool. Pretty good. He can spam out a lot of spells. How much int is he up to? Yeah, up to about 70 int. So yeah, he's got pretty decent spell amp. Yeah, Manta and then Octarine, I would imagine, will be next for the Alch. Everyone was so upset when they changed that recent nerf to the Alchemist where the Manta doesn't play well with Grievel's Greed, but honestly, it doesn't even feel like he needs it. It seems like that change was pretty minor into the grand scheme of Alch farming all over the map. WG.Unity gearing up like they might take a fight here in the mid. Thunder God's Wrath down for another 20 seconds. Blink in, vac back onto the Tusk. Concoction charged up, but no target. So when this draft started, the Tusk was picked up, and that was the moment I said, oh, I don't like this. Winter Wyvern Tusk. We are seeing some of the weaknesses here. Very defensive support duo where they can keep people alive pretty well and they can set up ganks, but it's pretty difficult. We haven't really seen this Tusk do a hell of a lot in this game outside of those early moments. He has been involved in pretty much every kill, and there is something to that. But this is the stage of the game where his effectiveness really starts to fall off. His damage output feels weak. He hasn't been farming well enough to have a decently timed mech. Still not even really that close to it. It's just a casual buckler for now. Just not really providing the team with that much utility. You look at the supports on WG.Unity, on the other hand, though. Lion and Disruptor both playing very obvious roles in all of these team fights. We've seen a lot of key glimpses, a few key fingers that have set up kills, made these fights possible. Both of them level 11 also. So level 2 ultimates ready to ride. WG.Unity smoke up. This is a great timing. Who are they going to find, though? Oh, it's the Winter Wyvern that finds them. He breaks the smoke. Zeus pops the ult to secure the kill and just get a little intel on where the enemy team is. Decides to be super aggressive, blinks forward, kind of dives the tier 2 tower, breaks the blink dagger of Axe, and Taring just get completely repelled. It's a 3-on-5 at the top lane. Alchemist is busy split pushing down bottom. Raji, I mean, he's still farming out of control. But his team is continuing to lose momentum around the map. He'll pop his Manta and back up. Meanwhile, the rest of WG is kind of lingering, not even really putting pressure into this tower. Just lingering nearby as their Zeus has left. It looks like they won't find an objective out of this, but still more momentum for the Naga. The net worth draft has changed drastically. It was all Alk all day. It still is, but Naga is closing the gap. She's getting momentum. She's trending upward.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And that's what's so important. Blink Lion in a bit of a sneaky position. Thinking about trying to get the jump perhaps, but not quite. BOT's up on Naga. And I think a Manta style's coming out next. You know, she's just going to teleport around, split push some lanes. Naga versus Alchemist. You know, it's honestly been a pretty action-packed game, given that it's 2 Radiance carries just kind of farming against each other. 13 to 22 in 25 minutes is really pretty action-packed. Zeus now with his set of BOTs. Both teams putting a lot of stock in mobility and presence around the map. Up top, Raji could get initiated on here. He's got the Soul Booster, but not the Octarine Core yet. Ult from Zeus to scout it out. His ult on cooldown here, no regen. Static Storm Kinetic Field helps lock him down, and WG.Unity get a nice pick on the Alk. Pretty crafty play there. Not sure if that was completely intentional, but they're all sort of hanging around in the tree line, waiting for the Alk to push the lane out. Of course he does. He takes the bait. And they find a kill. Another 700 net worth gain for the Dire squad. Taring, smoke up is 4. This is a pretty crafty play as well. You don't really expect the team to smoke up and try to take a fight with their Alchemist dead, but it is a 4v4 here in the top lane. Zeus not with him, but remember, he does have BOTs, and they are off cooldown. They go right in onto the Disruptor. He'll be the first one down when isolated by the Winter's Curse, but Ajit counter-initiates with the Song of the Siren, TP home. Everyone makes it out except the Disruptor, who was picked off first. So Taring do get a freebie with that surprise play there. 1-for-1 overall, fairly even trade, but again, it's an advantage for WG.Unity. Disruptor happy to throw his life away if they can take the Alk off the map and also make a little bit of space for the Zeus. Nana was not part of that, so he was just split pushing down bottom, farming away, getting a couple last hits for himself, and he's going to put a couple hundred damage into this tower at least. Just let the creeps do the hard work for him. Not so bad. Overall, still a pretty even game in terms of net worth. About 1,200 gold, 3,000 experience, the favor for WG.Unity. They're doing a great job keeping this game high tempo, making space for the Naga while also taking team fights. Taring not quite balancing their fighting farming as well. Oh, what a great combo that is. Zeus ults, Disruptor glimpses from downtown. They force the BKB out of the gyrocopter. That is huge. I'm not sure if they'd even rather have the kill there. That's a 10-second BKB. That's about as defensive a BKB usage as it gets. Not even close to taking a team fight. He did, by the way, break that Dragon Lance to make the BKB, and now his 2 bands of Elven Skin could turn into an S&Y. But even if you sell those back, it's a pretty cost-effective investment. The value of the stats you get, even if you have to break half of it, definitely worth it in a game like this when you're fighting a lot early. Alchemist almost caught out there by that rotation, but does TP home in time, and that secures his Octarine Core. Still a 6k gap between him and the Naga, but farm. The Octarine will, of course, up his farming time, lower the cooldowns, 100% uptime on Manta. You know this. You've seen it. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I know you've seen it before, these dirty alchemist pickers. So much burn around the map. Wow, this Disruptor's really close to an Aghanim Scepter. Really impressive farm on Afu. About 700 gold away, and that's going to be a big item pickup. Gyro might be struggling to use that BKB if he gets caught in that Static Storm. One of the better Ags upgrades in terms of supports. We'll see a glimpse on the Alchemist, but there's a wraparound from the backside. Static Storm, Kinetic Field goes off. BKB now used by the Gyro. Naga going to lock him in place as the rest of the team tries to retreat. I think they just want to wait out this BKB. They could also use the Song of the Siren to isolate him. They are going to be patient. Pipe now used. A lot of it's already gone off. There's the ult from Zeus. Afu gets turned on by the Winter's Curse. Raji goes in deep, stun onto the Zeus. Wen off to the side, isolated by the Axe. There's only one down across this entire drawn-out fight. Tier 1 tower is still standing for WG.Unity. They're in a pretty defensive posture. Still have a Finger and a Song of the Siren. Glyph also still standing. They could definitely defend this tower and at least secure a deny, and it looks like they will. Pretty desperate attempt from Taring there. They end up only getting one kill out of it. Pretty minor gains. And it was a massive rotation. A smoke as well as a wraparound behind the tower. Good defensive plays from this Dire side. The Crimson Guard's now out on the Darkseer. So he's got pretty good survivability tools and can keep his team pretty beefy. Again, that was even without the Naga Siren ult. She's also level 16 now. 60-second cooldown on the song, so you can use it basically whenever you want. I mean, that thing's going to be up for every fight at this point. Gyrocopter going blow for blow with Nana down in the bottom lane. He's actually going to win this duel. Nana getting low. He pops the BKB at the last second. It'll be a solo kill for the Gyrocopter, but it is another BKB charge down. I think worth it to pop the BKB and secure a kill there, but has to be wary of his magic immunity running low. Now Darkseer initiated on in the mid lane. Has a mech available still. Really a tanky little bugger with that Crimson Guard. With the Zeus down, Taring feeling a little bit more aggressive perhaps. Glimpse back on the Axe on the back side of the fight. Naga on the way to break the Blink Dagger. They hit him with a stun, and Axe actually falling pretty fast here. The Radiance Burn Finger brings him down, and it's Naga Siren that gets credit for the kill. It pulls the attention off the Tier 2 tower, makes this fight a 1-for-1, and now WG.Unity look to fight Raji, pulled back by the vacuum. When? Not going to be able to follow up for a kill. Still a good hold for Unity. Tier 2 tower stays standing. And Taring do retreat. Look at this gold graph, man. It's a nice W there. WG.Unity spelling out their signal. It's like the bat signal. This game is ridiculously even. I'm also getting tired of talking about Radiance. I don't see this game ending anytime soon. Oh, man. Resident Sleeper. Oh, Gyrocopter. He's coming in. Thinking about a kill on the Disruptor or maybe the Darkseer. But remember, he's a hard target to kill. He's going to surge. He's got a vac. And he's holding on to a mech. But, oh, it's Yamate. He's going to try to cut off the retreat path. Old Darky. Where are you going, Darkseer? Yeah, that ain't happening. Axe actually misses the dunk. Awkward. 4+1, baby. It takes 4, but they kill the Darkseer. Nice little kill there. Makes some more space for Alki to continue farming. He's up to 3,500 gold, but, well, would you look at that? Sometimes you got to just look at it. It's an Octarine core. Naga moves really weird. She breaks at the hips every time she slithers. Chuka, chuka, chuka. It's a natural thruster. Wow, more big items now coming out for Taring. Full Shivas on the Alchemist. That'll take him to 6-slot territory now. Upgrade the boots, eat a moon shard, but he's pretty capped out. Naga still has a little ways to go, can dump that Ring of Aquila. Will definitely want to hold on to the gem a bit longer, though. Gem on Naga, one of the most irritating things about this play style. Just how easy and low risk it is to deward. Alchemist down bottom, a little bit of split push. Zaki hiding in the tree line. They've got big burst damage, but is it enough? No, he's going to regen back through it. Oh no, WG.Unity. It looked like they could do it, but now they're both going to get killed. Nana going to be brought down as the rocket connects. Another double kill for the gyrocopter. They had the right idea. Zeus dropped the veil, the full rotation. Lion hit him with a finger. The Alk got so low, but you saw how fast he regened. Starting to get to that stage of the game where the magic damage falls off just a little bit. The Beefcake Ogre lives through it all. 45-second CD on Song of the Siren. It's one of the better parts of the Octarine core, of course. Alky, alky, alky.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Really a stalemate of a game at this point. Taring do gain the biggest lead we've seen so far this match. 3k gold, about 4k experience. They're pinging out Roche like the big boy might be an option. I gotta stand up. I'm falling asleep here, guys. Good thing my desk doubles as a standing desk, except I can't use the keyboard. This really is that quiet mid-game we were talking about. Both teams just happy farming up those core items. Looks like another Octarine's on the way. This time it is for the Zeus. Really, at this point, I feel like this game comes down to initiation. There's going to be one massive team fight. It's going to be farm, 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 farm. 60 minutes, there will be this one huge cataclysmic team fight, and it's going to be like a smoke on smoke outside of the Roche pit. They catch the Alchemist without buyback, and then they win the game. That's going to be how this one goes. Or the other way, they catch Naga without buyback. She can't get off her Song of the Siren. Bada boom, bada bing. What are we doing here, gang? What are we doing? Looks like a smoke rotation here from WG.Unity. They're going to head right down bottom, look for the Alchemist. They're pinging him out. They say, hey, there's Raji. Let's kill this Alchemist motherfucker. But he's got a BKB. They're going to have to hit him quick. Lion misses the stun. Blink Hex. Blink Hex. No, he gets off the BKB. Oh, no, is Raji just going to turn it around on the other team? Rajani Ganda, he destroys Lion. Song of the Siren, but hey, he's still BKB'd. Gyrocopter, he's got a BKB too. They're going to go cruising on in. They're going to keep fighting Jit. He's going to get low, but mech used. Alchemist helps set up the kill onto the Disruptor. Now it's Unity on the back foot. Orange.Taring going to continue pressing forward. Maybe they can find Wen. Shivas just barely connects. Surge up in 1 second and now caught by the Berserker's Call. That's going to be a kill on Ish Kafel. It's a 3-0 WG.Unity with a botched initiation. The Lion revealed the smoke with a missed stun. That was definitely not the play of the game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That really hurts. That's pretty massive. I mean, I guess the silver lining, Alk's 10-second BKB charge is gone. But that's a pretty shitty silver lining. They're going to kill Roche. Easy peasy, uncontested. Aegis goes the way of the gyro.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Let's take a look here. Moonduck instant replay coming in hot. Alk, there's the stun. He accidentally ukes it. Zaki, oh man. If he had gotten the Blink Hex off, honestly, I think the Alk dies there. He can't BKB. They've got a lot of follow-up damage. Disruptor could have used his Ag's upgraded ult, and Alchemist would have died. It would have been a nice easy gank, and they probably could have pushed a tier 2 tower. Instead, they botched the initiation, and it goes completely the other way. Now they're going to have to kill this gyrocopter twice. He's got a 5-second BKB now, but a Blink Dagger on Tuskar, who's also got a mech. Yamate, honestly, he has played pretty well this game, aside from some of these whiffed ice shards. It's been a little 50-50. I don't know if Tusk is totally in his comfort zone yet. Wait, is that the end of the Aegis? What the fuck? Okay. How did I just miss that? Was that just a Zeus ult? It's like, hey, Gyro, farming low. All right, boom. I don't know why he BKB'd. Wow. Radiant's courier with some cargo. Yep, flying over the ward there. So that would be the butterfly of the gyrocopter and the beginning of an Aghanim scepter for the alchemist. All right. So we are getting to this funny stage of the game where Alk is still out farming Naga by a pretty good bit. He is almost completely capped. I mean, again, Moon Shard, but that's pretty minor. He's going to start grabbing Aghanims. I wonder where the first one is going to go. I think Gyrocopter. The Side Gunner is a very weird ability, but it does have some credence to it. One of the best parts about the Sidecar is that it attacks even while you're stunned, and it does lifesteal. So it can add this layer of sustainability to Gyrocopter that you never really thought was possible. And they do have a lot of lockdown on WG.Unity. I think it'll even attack through, like, Song of the Siren Sleep and stuff. We'll see. I haven't actually seen that particular mechanic. Down bottom, that's an easy one on the Axe. Just catching him out a little far forward. Funny to say as he was right in front of his base, but enemies moving in, no vision. Not respecting their burst damage. Lion was still just a level 2 finger, but it's more than enough.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So anyway, this kind of cataclysmic timing, Naga's pretty capped out too. She's got 3,600 gold, could definitely upgrade the boots. Being able to BOT into a hero is pretty big. Will definitely want to dump this gem before too long and go into her final item. I'm not sure if that's going to be a butterfly, though. I think often you would definitely go the evasion, but given that they've already got an MKB... To be honest, Naga might want to go for the lower ticket Diffusal Blade. Right now, she's pretty survivable. Octarine, Heart, a lot of HP. Even the Manta giving her some extra stats. 3,500. I think at this point you go for damage. The Diffusal adding so much DPS. Now that your illusions are beefy, all those right clicks, they've got mana burn. Gives you a lot of utility also. More BKBs coming out. Axe picks up his BKB. It's pretty good against Song of the Siren. 3 now available for Taring. So that means if they time this right, they could potentially have 3 BKBs on when Song of the Siren comes out. And we've seen before... Sometimes Naga thinks she's safe, pops her ult, and then the magic immunity means she's the one that actually gets turned on. Although it can also mean that you get isolated when you pop your BKB. Even though you're magic immune, you can still fall victim to the right clicks of the opposition because you're not asleep like all of your teammates. It's a really weird interaction. Naga ult versus a team of BKBs has a lot of different potential outcomes where sometimes it's way in favor of the Naga and sometimes it's way in favor of the BKB carries. It's all about timing. Shiva's Guard also up on the Dark Seer. The stalemate continues. Courier's back, so we see the full butterfly on Gyro. And now he is rewarded with an Aghanim Scepter. There you go. Alchemist hooks him up, and he's got the sidecar. Side Gunner. Well, you don't like it when I say Gyrocopter? Gyro? Naga up to 6k gold. That's good. WG.Unity got to put some pressure on. This game's just going to get harder. At this point, the longer they wait, there are diminishing returns on potential success here. BKB used by the Axe. Berserker's Call. Pump fake. He actually cancels it. Doesn't whiff. Ice Shards connect on Afu. He does manage to get off the ult actually on top of Gyrocopter, so he won't be able to BKB. This could be huge if they can follow up. The finger's there, and it's well worth it. It's a 1-for-1. Zaki going to have to pay with his life as well. Yamate getting low as the Zeus is bursting off to the side. It's a very scattered team fight, but now the Alk is joining the party, going in onto the Zeus. Naga, Song of the Siren to reset things. It's a 2-for-2. And what do WG.Unity do now? They can either retreat or continue this fight. Going to move into the tree line, and it looks like they are going to fight, but they're going to take it in kind of an awkward way. Nana doing what he can to stand his ground, but now the BKB used by Alchemist. He is damn scary. He's going to get a kill on Zeus. It's a 2-for-3 now going the way of Taring. Is Alchemist just going to clean this up? Wen's not out of the clear yet. Alk is pretty scary. It's a tanky Darkseer. Net from the Naga. Actually going to lock him in place. But there's a Shiva's guard. I don't think either of them can really kill each other. This is like tanky hero slow burn versus tanky hero slow burn. They're both just going to run away from each other. All right. When the immovable object meets the immovable object, I guess nothing moves. Yeah, that kind of makes sense, right? Another awkward fight, though. It was a good start for WG.Unity, kind of. Axe kind of wasted his BKB. Disruptor gets initiated on, but still gets his ult off and sets up the kill on Gyrocopter. So honestly, Afu can't be too upset with what happened in that fight. Good follow-up from Lion, but he had to put himself in kind of a kamikaze-like position to get off that finger and secure the kill. Important that they killed the Gyrocopter, though. Disruptor got credit for the shutdown, and Zeus, probably Lion, did get XP for that. So he's now one level away from 16 and having that prized, beefed-up finger. And almost more importantly, get it on that super short cooldown. Upgraded BOTs now out on the Naga, still hanging on to the gem with 7k gold. Gyrocopter. I like the hard G. It doesn't make any sense. Gyrocopter. Whoopity whoopity woo. God damn it, dude. 45 minutes. Radiances are still burning. Cores are capped out. All right, who else got an Aghanims? I just saw he beefed up another one. Oh, he just gave it to himself. He said, all right, Walrus, nope. Axe, oh, Axe has one. Okay, so that's 3 Aghanims now. I missed the whole Aghanims. I thought he ate one. Oh, no, he only has 2. Okay, I thought the Alk ate one himself. My bad, I misclicked there. So he gave the next one to the Axe. Okay, this makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, it gives Axe some extra stats. That's the nice thing. You know, you get the stats, the health, the mana. So, you know, even pulling Ag Scepters on heroes that don't have great upgrades, you know, giving it to the Tusk, he still likes the stats. You know, it's not bad. If you really are that farmed as an alchemist, then, as they say, fuck it. You ain't got nothing else to do with the gold. Smoke rotation. Moving towards the pit. WG.Unity were in there. They kind of baited this out. Snowball in. Onto Afu. Ult from Zeus reveals the positioning. Breaks some Blink Dagger. Static Storm Kinetic Field comes out, but Axe has the BKB. Jumps right into it. Call down gets charged, and the Disruptor will be the first one to fall this fight. Now the rest of WG.Unity just trying to cut their losses and make it out. When does make it. Boy, is it a close call. The rocket turns. Goes about face. But the Darkseer makes it out. Go, little rocket. Go, little rocket.
Radiant's bottom tower is
It
under
dinked him.
attack.
Well, Naga has actually taken over as the #1 farmer this game, but this is the big problem, folks. She doesn't use gold as well as Alchemist does. It's just a simple fact. He can share with his friends. Naga's one of them greedy bitches that ain't be sharing shit. I'm shocked that she's still holding on to the gem at this point, though. Like, a 10,000 gold. And this is a 700 gold item. I know the gem is amazing, but just put it on the courier, use it to hunt wards, and then buy yourself something else. I mean, she's getting close where she can just stop by that Vera Bradley store, get a couple of bags, maybe get some designer sunglasses, and then start working on that whole wardrobe and her own courier. You know, we're talking Refresher Orb, we're talking Necro Book level 3, we're talking about a BKB. We're talking about big ticket items. You just plop on that courier. You follow. It follows you around, and you micro those items back and forth. I hope this Naga has been training with her courier micro, because we're at that point. It's not even like, oh, maybe if this and nope, we're there. I mean, she's capped out. Even if she buys her next big ticket item to replace the gem, she's ready to start picking up another courier. Oh, Alk. Pops a BKB. He's actually going to go in onto Zaki. Interesting BKB usage just for this. That was an 8-second charge. I mean, yeah, they're going to get this kill on the Lion, no doubt. The rest of WG.Unity just going to back out. Almost worth the BKB charge. Lion doesn't have buyback, so now they might just move into the Roche pit.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That would be
Or not. I mean, never mind. Just to pick off on the Lion. If they don't get any objective out of it, yeah, I'd say a dead Lion at this stage is worth a BKB charge. Here we go. Naga Siren set up onto the Gyrocopter. Gyro going down, baby. Static Storm Kinetic Field. They're going to turn him to pieces. Pipe gets used. Ice trying to make it out nice and tight like. Ult from the Zeus. Scouts him out. Now the Hex on Raji. Follow-up stun. Are they actually going to find this kill? Winter's Curse buys him some time. The defensive BKB. He pops it. Turns. Raji wants to fight. He's starting to regen up, but now the ensnare from Naga. Raji biting off more than he could chew. He's going to choke on that sandwich as he tries to swallow it. Glimpse back into the kinetic field. Hello, big boy. He's still alive, but finally falls. Now it's NJ on the back foot. BKB popped. Yamate uses his BKB as well. Axe tries to turn and fight. Now his Blink Dagger broke, and Hex comes out once more from the Zeus. And Snare from the Naga. This is the fight that WG.Unity's been waiting for 45 minutes. They finally find it. Alk buys back. They've got a few more to boot. Snowball buys the Tusk some time, but now Alky's back and ready to fight. I think that's the sign for WG.Unity to get the hell out of Dodge, and they certainly will. Blink back, TP's home. Can't wait to see this team fight recap. How much money did they earn? Yeah, that's big. Naga says, don't worry, guys. I'll pick up some consumables. Buys another gem. Picks up a couple of smokes. Couple of wards. The whole kit and caboodle. Oh, yeah, baby. That's like a 5K net worth swing. And a buyback by the Alk. You see up top, Zeus gets initiated on. Almost kills Yamate. All right, yeah. They get a recovery kill on the Zeus. I'm starting to believe that WG.Unity might actually be able to do this. Something tells me this 6-minute window they've got where Alk has no buyback is not going to be their win condition. It could be. All they have to do is kill the Alchemist one more time without losing their entire team, and I think they could end this game. Like right now, you wait for the Zeus to respawn, you smoke into Roche, you pick a fight near the enemy base, you blow everything on the Alk, you back up and reset, then you start sieging high ground. That is a way to get some huge momentum here, although it may not work out that way for WG.Unity. They may be forced into a buyback on the Zeus. His ult's down for another 20. Naga Skyren scouts out the Roche pit, sees that Raji's walked in there. Roche still pretty healthy. This is Roche 2, I believe. Yep, no Aegis Cheese. Now a smoke up from WG.Unity. What's their angle to initiate? BKB used by the Axe. Song of the Siren. It isolates just the Axe. Yamate blinks into it. Not a bad way to start off this fight, but not a great way to start it either. Axe pushes him back, and now WG.Unity look to reset. It's only a 45-second cooldown on Song of the Siren, and Roche is not falling quickly. So they might still be able to do this. Axe in very deep, trying to push back the Disruptor. Almost gets the kill. WG.Unity now turn onto him, though, and Snare from the Naga. Roche still going down pretty quick. This may work out well for Taring. They're kind of distracting them in the mid here, and it does open up for an uncontested Roche. Very nicely done by the Axe, knowing his limits with a BKB as well as a pipe, and a Force Staff for that matter. Space created, as they say, and Gyro gets himself a fresh Aegis of the Immortal. Well, that win condition definitely not going the way I thought it might for WG.Unity. They walk confidently into the pit. The Song of the Siren just not quite enough. Fast fingers from the Axe to burn the BKB that way also. I like it. Satanic on the Gyrocopter. All right, lifesteal, sidecar, let's go. Any more Aghanim Scepters coming out yet? Tusk still doesn't have one. Winter Wyvern still doesn't have one. So still a little ways to go on this Alchemist. Looks like he did give on to himself. Farming simulator. Whose turn is it to irrigate the crops? Jesus, dude. Naga. Is this even fun to play? Naga versus Alchemist. Oh. Like, this is the stage where Naga versus Alch starts to get a little bit painful. Not only because you've been talking about Radiance and split farming for 50 minutes, but because they're both completely capped out now. Like, they're the only upgrades at this point are complete luxury. Naga has now eaten a Moon Shard, still holding on to the gem, and has another 10k gold just sitting in the bank. Alch has pulled 3 of his 5 potential Aghanims now, still hasn't eaten a Moon Shard, but has his upgraded BOT. So like, there are very limited areas or ways for these heroes to upgrade now. So at this point, it just becomes this kind of like, well, I'm just going to keep farming because that's what I've been doing for an hour, so I got to keep farming. We got to keep map control. And then it's just going to come down to one person getting caught out, somebody getting caught by the Disruptor Glimpse, Ag's upgraded ult before they can BKB. And then there's going to be buybacks and another Song of the Siren to reset. And then another Chemical Rage to reset. Then they'll use buybacks, retreat for Roche. This game could go on for another hour. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, in other news, there's going to be a new Zyori podcast today after C Kappa. So when this broadcast is done, stick around because I'm going to podcast about the Benella Major. Although we do have another game after this. NG, what is it? New Generation versus NND. Nas Nedaganyat, the Vietnamese squad that's turned some heads. They're going to be squaring up in another best of one after this WG.Unity Taring game. So still a lot to look forward to here, folks. Ugh. Are you Horde or are you Alliance? Oh, my God. Does that movie come out tonight? Doesn't that movie come out soon? No, it's the 9th. 6s and 9s, man. My dyslexia is fucking with me. 6/9? Does the WoW movie really come out on 6/9/2016? That's dirty. That's nasty. I like it, though. I'm going to go see it. The pre-release. Let me get in there and be like, yo, Orgrim, what up? I saw you at PAX, yo. You look different in real life. All right, here we go. Whoa. All right. Here's a different pickup. Not one that I would have thought, but it actually makes a lot of sense here. Sort of. Bloodthorn for the Naga Sirens. This is a huge ticket item, one of the most expensive items in the game. You almost exclusively see it upgraded from an Orchid. Like somebody like a Queen of Pain goes Orchid first item, it goes 50 minutes, and you need that slot. Instead of selling the Orchid, you upgrade it to a Bloodthorn. Here Naga just straight clicks it. It does give her an 8-second silence. So when you have an Octarine, there's an additive incentive to pick this up. That's ridiculous. You can silence somebody for 5 seconds every 8 seconds. Think about how ridiculous that is. I know you're tempted to say, well, BKB counters it, and they've got 4 BKBs. Well, that's great. But once BKBs get down to a 5-second charge and like a 50-second cooldown, that Bloodthorn's going to be hurting a lot. And you might also be thinking to yourself, well, the crit doesn't really synergize here. They don't have a lot of right clicks, but they have enough right clicks. I think it's more for the lockdown than the added damage. But that added damage will add up and make a difference. This is exciting. I actually just have awoken from my slumber, even though I know it's going to be another 10 minutes before we see it happen. I'm excited to see how this Bloodthorn works. It could end up being a big bucket of shit. Not going to lie. Like, Bloodthorn is one of those weird items that I still haven't really seen a game where I'm just like, the Bloodthorn! The game-winning play! Like, it hasn't happened yet, and this could be the game for it. You know, like you think about the lockdown it could provide on Alch, on Gyrocopter. Like it's a pretty big damage buff. This is Zeus Hex has also played a big role. In pretty deep. He's gonna have some help rotating in. Alchemist gets hexed up right away. He's just going to try to TP out, but there's a counter hex. Oh, no. Who's going to win this fight? BKB's Song of the Sirens pop. Not taking huge damage from this Alchemist. Song not too effective against the BKBs. They go 1 for 1. Oh, God, no, it's a 2 for 0. My God, Lion and Zeus both down. WG.Unity on the back foot. The Bloodthorn not saving them from that. All of their BKBs are down, though. WG.Unity just need to get out of dodge. They're going to make it back when TP's home. Oh, no. Afu caught by the winner's curse, and Ajit going to be the lone survivor here along the Darkseer, who did cut it high and dry. That should be a tier 2 tower. Easy peasy for Orange. Roche still down. Things looking a little more scary for this Dire squad.
Loaded to the gills.
Loaded to the gills. Okay. Well, they're not even going to get to push this tier 2 tower. No Creequilibrium for Taring. Even though there's 3 dead, they might not even force any buybacks here. Let's do a BKB roundup. Tusk down to 8 seconds. Gyro, yeah, he's down to 5. Alk has to be down to 5. I think we just checked Axe. Also down to 5. We're going to see initiation onto Ajit. BKB's popped aplenty. Song of the Siren, this bitch. That's what they're saying as they send her to the grave. A watery grave it is. The BKB's super effective against that Jigglypuff sleep. Naga in the grave for 80 seconds. And is this going to be the buyback force? They are going to wait for the creeps, finish off this last outer tower. The topsy-turvy game continues, but it's Taring that have taken control and busted this one wide open. 12K net worth lead, 15K experience. You know, I shouldn't say bitch so much. Naga's, that's a mean word. Naga's a nice lady. I mean it jokingly. She's so friendly. Here we go, initiation. Oh, NJ goes deep in onto the Disruptor. He's already used the Static Storm. It's not looking like a good fight for WG.Unity. I think Naga might need to buy back here. Static Storm, pardon me, that's a kinetic field. It does help block him out, but they still lose the Disruptor. Now the buyback from Naga comes a little bit late. They might lose Zaki as well. BKB's used, has to be careful about this Song of the Siren. Does pop it, but BKB's doing huge damage still in return when trying to TP home. It won't happen. WG.Unity in huge trouble as Nana disconnects at an unopportune time. Oh, jeez. All right, this should be at least a tier 3 tower. It looks like we're back in it. Naga's still alive, but no ultimate. Only one buyback available, and it is this Disruptor, but he doesn't have an ult. So not too much he's going to be able to do. That's going to be a bottom lane of barracks down. Melee already fallen. Range shortly after. And now without a glyph, Taring are looking to seal this game out. They know that some of these buybacks aren't available, or they would have been used by now. Tier 3 tower in the mid goes down. Now the melee barracks exposed. Nana initiated on by the winner's curse. Alki goes cruising on in. The BKB, the stun on 2. It's brilliant. Ajit getting low. It's a dieback for the Naga. And this game is over. Taring bust it wide open. And after 50 minutes of Naga versus Alk, it is Orange.Taring that squeak out a win. It was a pretty topsy-turvy game, but they take that cataclysmic team fight just shy of the 60-minute mark. The Naga just can't take the heat against the BKBs. That's all it came down to, 4 BKBs when she needed a song. Jigglypuff got crit on hard, and the Bloodthorn never really able to use it to much effectiveness. My golly. Well, no elimination here, so WG.Unity will be knocked down to the lower bracket. I knew Orange.Taring were the favorites. Man, that was my call coming into this. The bets had the favor for WG.Unity. It's all over the place. That's one of the great things about Best of Ones and C Kappa. You never know what's going to happen. There's no chance for recovery. You got to bust out those pocket strats in game number 1. That said, folks, we got another game coming up here, and it's scheduled to start 1 minute ago. It's going to be NND versus NG. I'm Zyori from moonducktv. If you enjoyed the cast, give me a follow on Twitter at ZyoriTV. We would most certainly appreciate it. We'll be back after this short commercial break.